Raj, you mentioned, to your point, there's a lot of upstarts, a lot of startups focusing on various parts of AI. Do you expect a wave of consolidation over the next 18 months as some of the bigger players in the tech space, flush with cash, start to pick out which companies could be the ultimate winners and are willing to buy them?
I don't think there's going to be a consolidation in the generative AI market in the next 18 months or so. Is there going to be a consolidation in the next 3 years? Probably. I do think that people are going to go have at it in the generative AI space. Understand it's also evolving. It's in its infancy. It's 2 years into this entire generative AI boom. And I'll ask you to reflect back when the cell phone was invented, what did the mobile phone look like in its second year? It looked like a brick. It was probably the size of my hand and had a battery time of less than an hour. So that's where we are in the ultimate landscape of generative AI. So I think consolidation, it's too early for consolidation. I do think that there'll be a lot of money and a lot of research that's going to go into generative AI. I think we'll all benefit from it, but I think consolidation is a little more than 18 months away, Brian.
And the companies that are starting up now or that are still fairly fledgling, just to go back to the sort of funding question and Silicon Valley Bank and bank servicing question, do you find the behavior has changed in the Valley in that company? I mean, even though there is a version of SVB that still exists, companies maybe have learned some lessons, maybe are not banking, everything in one place, for example. Have you seen that kind of change?
Oh, 100%. I don't know. I mean, we all CEOs of private startups, so most of us hang out occasionally, at least, if not more frequently. And we were saying that one of the biggest lessons that we learned from this, I mean, we at SingleStore were just fortunate that we had multiple banks because we were flushed with cash. So we didn't want to put all our eggs in one basket. And that's why I happened to sleep a little better than most other CEOs on that weekend about a year ago. However, I don't know of any startup founder which does not have an alternative bank. So doesn't have at least 2, if not 3 banks that they bank with now. And have optionality. So that's probably one of the biggest learnings that we CEOs had out of the SVB crisis. And also to understand that SVB was a very good line of credit provider, so as to speak. There is no dearth of credit in the market right now. And companies are able to raise debt. I mean, reasonable companies are able to raise debt. So I don't see a paucity of capital, both credit and equity capital. Credit is, that one-time ARR ratio, whereas equity, there are more discerning investors now than they were about 24 months ago, Julie and Brian.
Well, hopefully that makes for a more healthy ecosystem. I wanted to switch back to AI here. As we mentioned, you're coming out with a book next month on demystifying AI. And I'm hoping you can help me demystify or clarify a current debate that is going on that's highlighted by 2 prominent individuals, Elon Musk and Sam Altman, on whether generative AI in particular should be on a so-called open system or closed system. I'm just wondering, as you watch that play out, what you think the answer is.
I do think that the answer is somewhere in the middle. I think both of the parties are trying to hopefully accomplish the same thing, that there is a democratization of AI, and AI is not the privilege of the few. So from that concept, whether it's open or closed, I do think that I agree with the democratization of AI. Now, what does democratization of AI mean? That everyone should have access to AI platforms. At what cost and what optionality they should have is up for debate. I do think that at the end of the day, for a AI platform to survive, it has to have the ability to be monetized. And I don't know how open platforms, which are not have some layer of closed source in it, can be monetized effectively over a period of time. And if it cannot be, then there isn't a business model. That's exactly what we were talking about. And also, if it is a completely open business model, how do you prevent that from not landing up in the hands of the people we do not want it to land up in? So that's a huge debate. And I do think that the survival for a AI platform would have to be having a layer of closed source in it. However, I do think that certain level of democratization by making it available to the masses is required. So as I said, the answer is somewhere in between, Julie.
All right, Raj, great to catch up with you. Really appreciate it. And I'm sure our conversation will continue on this topic of AI. It's not going anywhere. Raj Verma, appreciate it.
Thank you very much.